Hey guys, welcome back to my builds. In today's video, I'll be showing you my custom LEGO Technic Jeep chassis. I will also be comparing this chassis system to that of the LEGO Technic Jeep Wrangler released in 2020. But first off, my custom suspension here. As you can tell, it's not exactly the same as what a Jeep's suspension system would look like. The reason I'm saying that is because Jeeps don't have front independent suspension, and also in the rear, they don't have this exact design for suspension either. At least I don't think so. Obviously in the back, there's kind of a mess going on. I'll talk to you guys about that later. But for now, the front, I did make sure that this model could include steering. So I don't have a steering wheel for it, but I can steer the car just by moving this front brace here. And as you can tell, it rotates this entire assembly. These are connected on a rod system to the frame just so that it gives it stability. As well as, I also included suspension in this as well. So if I push one wheel up, you'll see compresses the spring and moves these two joints here. Another thing to keep in mind about my model is that when I compress the suspension, it actually does affect the steering, which is kind of an issue. It's one of the cons of this model. It's not found in the LEGO Jeep Wrangler suspension. Also, in the rear of the car, where this whole mess is, first of all, this here pulls out. This is just for like an extendable rack kind of thing, and these two parts here are made for stability of whatever you're trying to hold on it. This yellow axle is meant for a spare tire, just in case you wanted to be more, I guess, realistic or something. I don't have any more of these, so I couldn't put an extra on the back, but I would if I had the parts available. Also in the rear, it is, I think, it's independent and both not, because it's independent, like the wheels can compress separately, but it also is dependent because if they're both kind of compressing at once, it kind of like moves the whole assembly and affects each other. So I guess it's semi-independent suspension, which is kind of what gives this car its pros and cons. I feel like if I had like real LEGO suspension parts, because as I did show in a video from my Dollar Tree Dollar Builds channel, I think it was my Dollar Tree channel, I had bought a bag of parts with suspension parts and gears and all sorts of cool stuff. But these aren't official LEGO parts. That's why they don't have the same softness or hardness. That's why my bin of parts, these springs are actually all the same hardness because they're not LEGO. But I will be buying some actually LEGO suspension parts soon. That way I can work with LEGO's existing parts. But yeah, that's all really for this model. I guess a few more details about it. I built this frame across to kind of stabilize the suspension system. I integrated this just to hold the extendable rack and hold this together. This tie rod I talked about, these two bars, were just for stabilizing the steering and the suspension both at once. And then these gray frames are for stabilizing so the vehicle doesn't warp and bend as it takes on weird terrain, as well as these two black beams across the bottom. I also included this one and this one for stability because as I was developing this car a while ago, I realized that the car, like I said, would just warp and bend in weird ways, and so it was kind of a drawback about it, and so I had to obviously improvise. Also, as you might be able to tell, the rear is a bit higher than the front. That is partially due to the, I guess the height of the suspension parts, but also you could kind of consider this a truck if you wanted to, because in trucks the rear suspension is raised higher than the front. That way the load can compress to a stable height, versus if it were straight, it would just kind of create a squatted truck. So that's why they do that. And yeah, so now I'm going to be comparing this to my Jeep. This set was released by Lego Technic in 2020, I believe. It includes a winch. I actually didn't have that on this model. I wish I did, but I don't have the parts necessary. It includes a fake engine. This one doesn't even have an engine. A fake like V6 or whatever cover. The doors work on this. This car is just a frame, so there's no doors or anything like that. On the back, there's the tire, kind of the inspiration for this one. This car actually has a steering knob, as you might be able to tell. And that kind of rotates an assembly underneath. I don't know if you guys can see that well enough here. And so now to talk about the suspension systems in these cars. I would say this Jeep has similar suspension to the rear on my MOC, simply because it's like a semi-independent kind of thing, because it's like a straight axle, but it's also got independent shocks. So I don't know, let me know in the comments what this is considered. I don't exactly know what it's considered. I'm gonna have to watch some more YouTube videos about it. I also did a video where I took these yellow parts off the suspension right up here. And so, yeah, it gave it a bit more travel. That's because this has such limited travel versus this one, which has plenty of suspension travel. This one has the straight, so it really wouldn't be considered a truck at any point. It does have a loading cargo space though, similar to the cargo space in that one. It also has front suspension, no springs, which is kind of weird. It makes use of like this bar swing mechanism, and the steering also kind of makes use of it as well on one of these joints. So yeah, that's really it for this review on my custom MOC and Legos Jeep. If you have any more questions or any ideas, let me know in the comments below. If you have any ideas on how I could modify this, improvise it, make it look cooler, maybe give it different suspension, let me know in the comments. I will be taking this apart soon, so please be sure to let me know as soon as you can. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.